So let's go through this story. Your son, who was in 2001, 2002, at the age of 35, allegedly hacked into 97 American government computers, and they wanted him over there to stand trial. Possible 60 years in prison.
That's what they wanted.
And then so the fight began to stop him going, to stop that extradition. Then Home Secretary for Labour John Reid signed an order on the 4th of July 2006 for him to be extradited. 2008, the then Home Secretary Jackie Smith requested the request from your legal team to stop the extradition. 2009, new Home Secretary Alan Johnson rejected the last-ditch appeal. 2010. So this is, you know, this is a fight that you've had on your hands. You stood against Jack Straw at his Blackburn constituency at the general election. The new Home Secretary, Theresa May, gives campaigners a glimmer of hope by agreeing his case could be adjourned whilst the medical evidence is considered, because he was diagnosed with Asperger's. And so David Cameron spoke to Barack Obama, saying he hoped a way through could be found. And then, on October 2012, Theresa May blocks his extradition on health grounds. And that's where that story begins, where we pick it up now. So, for you, what role did she play? What sort of a woman did you see?
It was an incredible role. I mean, it was actually one of the bravest and most compassionate decisions ever taken politically in many, many years. And I think what's amazing is she must be a good poker player, because she does keep her cards very close to her chest.
So you didn't know she was going to do any of that?
No, the night before we were actually told by Gary's MP, David Burrows, that he's going, there's nothing he can do, and he's really sorry about it. And the next morning at 5:45, Theresa May rang her special advisor, Fiona Cunningham, and told her, I'm not sending him. And she jumped out of bed with excitement. And then she told Dominic Grieve on the way in to the Commons, she's not sending him. And some of the advisers who were convinced they had to go had to rip up their prepared speeches and write new ones very shortly before. So I think keeping her cards close to her chest was very helpful and very clever.
And also what she did, what she appeared to do on this case, was that she explored it herself. She didn't delegate to other people.
Right.
She looked at all the evidence herself, and she was in control of it right to that last moment.
Well, that's right. Apparently, most people, they'll get a brief and they'll go on that brief because they're doing so many things, but she really likes to go into everything herself. And she looked at all of the medical evidence that when Gary was 16, we had taken him to a neurologist thinking he had a brain tumour. So there was lots of things in his past. It was Asperger's, but the World Health Organization didn't recognise Asperger's until the mid-1990s. Right. Also, his great-grandmother had been in a mental institution in the darker days and sadly died there. She was there for 50 years. So it wasn't someone that's suddenly saying, oh, you know, I'm not very well. She had the evidence, and she looked at evidence that other people hadn't. And she also brought in an additional advisor. She also took legal advice elsewhere. So she really was very, very careful.
You say that, I mean, there were other MPs from other parties who also helped.
Oh, absolutely. Kate Hoey, people like that, very good.
But for you, and you say you're apolitical here,
yes.
You were just looking for someone, anyone,
absolutely.
of any party to help you. What sort of Prime Minister do you think she's going to make?
I think she may surprise everyone. I mean, I really like that she's now going to keep the Human Rights Act, because that was how she was. That's what she used to actually block Gary's extradition. She's also said she's going to build lots of houses. Well, God, don't we need houses in London and surrounding areas that people can actually afford, and in the north. I mean, we need houses that people can afford. And none of the governments, Labour or Conservative, have put money into building social housing. So if she's going to do that kind of thing, that sounds promising.
And how is Gary? Is he all right?
Well, Gary's running a little business now. It's called Small ACO, and what he does is he gets people up to the top of the Google charts, and that way he can keep a low profile, and he's earning a living.
Yeah.
But he's still, the fear comes back quite often, because it's difficult to really believe you're OK after so many years. There's still that fear there.
Yes, I can imagine.
So you are very grateful to her?
Oh, incredibly grateful. I mean, she saved Gary's life because the Americans said that they wouldn't take her phone calls, that the relationship with her was finished. And if you've got political ambitions, you don't really want to do anything to upset America, because they are very, very influential. And the fact that she did that was very brave.
Do you think that that approach, that tenacious approach with the Americans, will affect her negotiations with them now she's ended up in this surprisingly elevated position?
I think they'll respect her. I mean, the fact you have to be able to stand up for yourself, otherwise what's the point? And if you bend to every other country just to please them and to give them the result they want, you're not really doing your job for the people who are in the country. And also, as far as Europe's concerned, where we are now, she's going to be able to be quite a tough negotiator, isn't she?
Okay.
So, I mean, you know...
Well, it's fascinating. It's a very fascinating
Thank you.
insight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.